right, guys, we are back. It's been a super busy last 3 weeks. We're ready for another episode of the podcast. I don't remember what episode this is. Classic. 32. All right, we're on episode 32 of the Pokemon Masters Council podcast. Justin, what's up, bud?
So today for the main topic, we're going to be talking about the brand new map for Unite. This is a brand new game, basically, because, spoiler alert, Zero, they got rid of remote. We thought that we'd have the option. Nope. They tossed that in the trash, son. Gone. So we had a lot to talk about. It's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a whole new world, like Aladdin says.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about some host hobbies, man.
Yeah, so...
we got a lot to talk about here.
Let's talk about host hobbies. We'll just dive right into it. These host hobbies that we're about to talk about are the reason why this podcast is a week late. I mean, among other things.
We both had a tournament weekend. Mine was just a local one-dayer, but Zero, you had a kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Kind of a big tournament. You had state championships for disc golf singles. I'm repping the Discraft. I like it.
Yeah.
So we just went 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks, basically. So
yeah, this tournament was basically my disc golf Super Bowl that I play in. This is like the pinnacle of my season. You have to qualify to get in. You can't just walk up and be like, I want to play. Like, no, you got to earn your way in. So I did that earlier this year and I qualified. It's a 3-day tournament. Okay, so we got around Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then obviously it's in Ludington, which we've kind of talked about before. So basically a 2-hour trip from home for me. 2-hour trip up north. Around Friday morning, I took the fam with me. We all went camping. We got a deluxe camper. It had 2 bunk beds. You know, I took the kids. I took my nephew. He was my caddy for the weekend. He did a great job too, which was really awesome. But yeah, I mean, the weather was great. I started okay. Second round was okay. Third round was not great, but I did finish 14th out of 120.
Wow, let's go.
Yeah, I never dipped out of the top 15, dude. I was in the top 15 the entire tournament. Never fell out of it.
Up there in that S bracket, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Out of 120 people.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good percentage for all you children at home without a calculator.
Yeah, and we don't have one either, so we will not give you that percentage. But, yeah, the thing I'd want to like make.
How's the weather?
The weather was, well, actually, you know what? The weather was great. No.
So 10 being the best you could have asked for, 1 being the worst. How was the weather overall the whole weekend?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm gonna give it a 7 because during my first round. Okay, this course is so close to Lake Michigan, and our first tee from our first round.
Was it windy?
Yeah, our first tee is so high up you can see Lake Michigan, and it was so incredibly windy the entire. Yes, that's what it was like. The entire first round. It's just blistering winds right in my face for basically the whole first round.
Throwing into the wind
too? Yeah, and I planned on I planned on bogeying a couple certain holes where I knew I was throwing right directly into the wind. I'm like, oh, I'm taking a 4. Like, I'm guaranteed I'm taking a bogey, and
yeah, you got crit hacked. You can't do anything about that.
Yep. And then the second day was just so incredibly humid that by the end of the round I was starting to kind of lose control of the disc because my hands were not, you know what I mean? I was just like, my hands.
It's one of those days in Michigan where for guys out there, you know, every couple of steps is a bigger stride.
Yeah. You're hitting that big circle-y step. That's what I was doing. And then the third round weather was great. Third round weather was great. Unfortunately, I did not perform well enough to jump up the leaderboard and take the win. I could have had I played better. But that's all detailed story for another day. But basically,
Well, I mean, you're just like in competitive Pokemon, anything. We are competitors, so we like to be even in a win, like a top 14. It's not first, so there's always time to be self-critical, and that's not as long as it's done in a healthy perspective. Which you totally have. You're definitely more level-headed of the two of us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think it's commendable, but I also think it's healthy to be like, okay, what can I do better for next year?
Yeah, because
Learn from it and then do better next time. Right?
you had asked me like, well, how do you feel about it? And I was bummed because we had talked like immediately after, like within an hour, I think, of me finishing. I was actually pretty disappointed. But now that I've had some time away from it, I'm really happy with it. Like, it was a successful tournament.
Initial emotional response, right? Like, after the game ends, kind of thing.
Yeah, but now that I'm removed, like, I'm happy with it. It was a great run. Yes, I could have done better, but you could say that anyone in front of me,
because you had to take a year off for medical stuff. So, like, this is your first year back. So,
true.
Then not to in the whole world with Rona. So, again. First year back after what, 2-3 years?
Yeah, I haven't played any like tournaments really in 2 years, maybe.
2 years off, and you got 14th out of 120 at the state championships, baby. Mm-hmm. Let's go!
I'm back, baby.
PMC, let's go. That's what we do.
I'm back. All right, now Justin, enough about me. Let's talk about you. You had a really successful tournament. How did it go for you?
So I had a Warhammer Age of Sigmar tournament. We've talked about this on the channel a bunch. Tabletop war game, basically little models and toy soldiers, and I play dwarves. I represent the Short Kings in real life, so I represent the Short Kings on the tabletop too. So I play steampunk dwarves. We got right here. We got this guy. He's almost done. So this is for Caradron Overlords. This is the Ironclad. This is our biggest of the 3 big sky ships. You can see it's basically almost done. There is a crew there over there too, but
I've seen the evolution of this as time has gone on. Every time I go to your house to like record pod or something like that, like there's new steps added or new anything.
Yeah.
It's evolving.
It's a labor of love for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, like my debut voyage for my flagship, and obviously, as you can see here, it is modeled after with the 4 turbines like that. You see that? It's you know what that's from?
Avengers.
Yeah, buddy. This is my aircraft. This is my helicarrier.
Okay.
So it was my debut for my, because I've got a bunch of dwarves. There's 3 dwarf armies in Age of Sigmar, and I have them all, but it's just one army. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of rules that you can mix and match this and that. So I just kind of play a soup list of all kinds of stuff. But this is my first time playing at a tournament with Caradron Overlords. So that's the steampunk faction, basically. So I took the big ship that you just saw. Basically, we played 2,000 points. There's 3 rounds. That's just a normal, typical local one-dayer. They're not super reputable. Like AOS Stat Center won't cover them. It's not.
Right.
It's the 2-dayers that are 5 rounds, whereas the 1-dayers are 3. But they're meant for practice, and not to mention the street cred, right?
Right.
So and it's but the best part is you want to support your local game stores. You want shout out to Jesse Graves, like he's doing a phenomenal job at Far Harbor Gaming here in Grand Rapids. If you are interested, definitely go check him out. He is the premier game store in town for tabletop.
Do it.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I played with the Ironclad, that's the big giant ship, the helicarrier, and then I played with, so in Age of Sigmar, gods and demigods are actual playable characters, kind of like Greek. It's very similar to Greek mythology. So I was playing with essentially, this dude is a demigod. He's basically Hercules for the dwarf army. His name is Gotrek. Brandon, you've heard of Goku?
Yeah. Yep.
And Gohan.
Yeah.
And Goten and Gotenks.
I heard of him.
I got Gotrek.
Okay.
Super Saiyan dwarf. He's 485 points. That big ship is 490. So just those 2 models alone is almost 1,000 points out of 2,000.
I mean, they seem pretty worth it, though.
Yeah. So Gotrek just sort of he's slow because he's a dwarf, so he only moves 4 inches. We play on like a 6 foot by 4 foot table, so 4 inches is not a lot.
No.
And we're basically playing capture the flag. So most models within 6 inches of the objective, you win the flag. You know what I mean? All you gotta do is more models. So Gotrek's only one dude, he counts as 5, and the ship's only one dude, it counts as 5. So it's just like all you gotta do is have 6 dudes and I take it from you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but he popped off. It was really awesome. So, spoiler alert, I ended up going 3-0, and I ended up winning the tournament, taking first place. So, I was really happy with it. It was a small tournament. It was just for practice because it was on the holiday weekend. So, people were just out of town. One person was sick, unfortunately. Another person that was going to come. Kids, something happened, not really sure. So, definitely shout out to them, though. Hope everything's okay. But so we just did sort of a round robin. It was a lot of fun, a lot of practice. I ended up playing 3 different factions, which was really cool. The first round I played against Ideneth Deepkin, which are essentially they're elves, so dwarves versus elves.
Oh.
But these elves are from like Atlantis, so they're all undersea elves, and they're riding like sharks and eels and turtles, and it's actually my main practice partner for Warhammer. His name's Evan. So. We had fought earlier in the week in a practice game, and he changed his list. And then we fought at the tournament, round 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the curveballs weren't enough.
They weren't enough. So Gotrek did what Gotrek does. He went Super Saiyan, big giant flaming mohawk, and he just sort of swung his axe around and really took control of the locker room, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and the ship can basically like teleport. So it's like when you pick a model up and just move it anywhere outside of 9 of your guys. As long as I'm 9 inches away from your guys, I can just sort of go anywhere. Yep. I don't have to measure. I can just go. The big ship can do that. It's called Fly High. So it's just because they're big airships. It's sort of like you can't really catch them because they're big flying. How you know what I mean?
Right.
In a fantasy world, these are big steampunk airships.
Yes.
Supposed to be like blimps or something. So that was really, really cool. So, I sort of had to play reserved a little bit and sort of throw Gotrek up and sort of put, give them a couple dwarves here and there, just a couple of my little Sky Pirate guys on foot, and sort of kind of like pawns in chess, right?
Yeah, play it strategically instead of muscling your way in.
Yeah, and then once there was an opening in the back, I ended up getting in there. You know what I mean? That's actually what happened in my second game.
Okay.
That was Ossiarch Bone Reapers. They're basically skeletal constructs. So they're not skeletons. That's a different army in Age of Sigmar. There is an army of just straight up, a necromancer that rises skeletons like Game of Thrones, right?
Right.
There's that. But these guys are like, think robots. But instead of being made of metal and electricity, they're made of bones, just scraps of bones after a battlefield, and someone like magically shapes it into like a humanoid structure that looks like a knight. So it's like almost like a statue made of bone, and then they magically put death magic into it to make it alive.
I'm trying to think of like a clever name for this, but I don't have one because it.
Well, I don't know. In the community, we call them boner boys.
Okay, well there it is.
So we fought against the Aussie. They're really cool. So like they have these dudes that are like 10 foot tall, and they're like General Grievous with 4 arms and a sword in each arm. But because they have a big catapult, and the arm of the catapult is like the femur of a giant monster.
Mm-hmm.
So like they just take bones. There's one of their casters or whatever is called a bone shaper.
Okay.
So he like magically creates the like magic bone robots, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they're not like mindless zombies. They have their own. It's like a talking skeleton character almost.
Okay.
Anyways, so I fought against them. There was a bunch of skeleton knights. There were skeletons on foot, and there's a big giant boss on a giant dead like dragon thing. And this boss has a spell that you roll a bunch of dice, and it just keeps. It's like a poison dot damage, and it just keeps going until he rolls a 1, essentially.
Okay.
So the potential there is really risky for him to just nuke some of my stuff. So basically, I had to play that game like I was talking, where I slowly crept forward, because like if he gets into me, his skeleton dudes will just murder me in combat because they don't have any shooting. So they're really good in combat because they don't have any shooting. We're
Yeah.
I'm all Sky Pirates, so we're all guns, baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really tricky game. I had to sort of like, because of terrain, I had to like, because he doesn't have anything that flies, and I do. So I had to like, I put my boat, my big giant ironclad up about here in the board, right in the middle, and tried to get him to come forward and like, because he really wants to kill it, right?
Yeah.
And he Gotrek, he's like, oh, I can kill both of his big things. That's half his army. I basically just win if that happens, essentially. And he wasn't able to get to me. But he tried to play up so that way next turn he could. But next turn, I had the option to either jump top, which there wasn't enough terrain in the way, so he might have been able to catch me. Because if he catches me, he could kill my boat.
Yeah.
So I can't get caught. Yeah, it's kind of like Cinderace in Unite, right?
Yeah, dude.
So like, if I go top, I potentially risk getting caught. But if I go bot, there's no way I get caught this turn with anything that's really relevant at all. His entire army's blocked off because of terrain. They'd have to go around, which means I'd buy another turn. I'd just jump away again. And he's off the flag, right?
Yeah.
So that's the play that I made. I sort of baited him in and out. And eventually on turn 3, I think it was, or turn 4, we played 5 turns the whole game. It was late game, mid to late game, right? I played real careful, got Gotrek in. He ended up killing Gotrek. He was the first one to kill Gotrek ever.
Okay.
But it was a really good distraction. So in killing Gotrek, he missed position because he put too much forward, and he left a spot in the back. And I was able to teleport back there with my ship and get it in the measurement in range. He left a spot big enough for me to get my big base. Because, like, this is a big, chunky base, right?
Yeah.
So, but he left room for me to get in there. He didn't measure quite effective enough. He kind of forgot about it, I think. But, and I then able to kill his general, the big giant. There's a giant skeleton wizard on a giant bone dragon.
So you gave him the old bait and switch. You're like, come on. Then you teleported behind him. You guys swung in on like a rope, like you're in the jungle, and you just pew. Got his general.
I jumped in there with my ship, and it's like, fire all the lasers.
Yeah, dude.
All the smoke. You know, it's like, stop blowing holes in my ship.
Got him.
Sort of idea. And blew his general. I killed him to the wound. Did exactly enough damage through all the armor saves and rolls and dice shenanigans that nobody cares about. I killed him exactly. I did exactly enough damage to kill him.
Dang, dude.
So,
the rolls were with you.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I was able to pick up that win. And then the third game, I played against another Death Army. I played against Ghosty Boys. So This is called Night Haunt. So you seen that part in Lord of the Rings where the big wave of ghosts come?
Yeah.
It's that.
Okay.
They're pretty tricky because they have what's called ethereal, because they're ghosts, right? You can't touch.
Yep.
So basically what that means is, like, you have to be able to fight them in game, right? You can't just mean like, oh, you can't touch me.
Yeah.
It doesn't really exist. So the way that they sort of work around that and translate it a little bit is it means that they have this rule called ethereal. It means that their save cannot be modified. So no matter how much armor penetration, it's called Ren, but how much armor penetration I possess, 0. If you're playing ghosts, you don't care. If you roll a 4 up, 1, 2, and 3, you fail. 4, 5, and 6, you pass. You have a 50-50 shot against all incoming damage to save it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And their death save after that, where you roll again, and on a 5 or a 6, depending on rules, you save it again.
Jeez. Okay. So it's like that Dragapult card.
Yeah, you just need lots and lots and lots of dice.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
You got lots and lots of dice, huh?
I got lots and lots of dice. A lot.
Yeah.
It was a really fun game. The mission that we played was actually the mission that I had already played in a practice game a week prior. So I was really familiar with them, and I won that game. So I was really familiar with, like, and I've already played Night Haunt. I lost to them last time I played them.
Yep.
This time I won. It was actually over, in my opinion, at the top of turn 2. But we still played it. I didn't say anything because, like, I wasn't really sure. Trying to be respectful on the table with him. I texted you guys. I was like, I think I won. And then, like, 45 minutes later, top of turn 4, he put his hand out for the handshake.
Nice.
And then we had worked it out, and then we had time, so we just rolled it to see if I would have done the damage or not. So technically, had we just played the rest of that turn out, I would have tabled him.
Okay. Aced him.
So, yep. So completely wiped out all of his army off the table. Because basically they have a rule, like an underworld thing, so they can set models off to the side of the table and they can bring them up, kind of like my ship will teleport outside of 9.
Yep.
They can do that outside of 9 and bring ghosty boys up, but they need certain heroes and stuff to do it. Well, those heroes aren't very tanky, or they have the base tankiness, but they can't get any better.
Yeah.
Their save can't be modified up or down, so they can't increase their save and I can't decrease it. So it's just 50-50 across the board.
Okay.
And they're only like 8 wounds. And I have a lot of shooting. So I just pew-pew-pewed all the heroes off, and once they're dead, those boys are stuck in the underworld. They can't come up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, well, congrats to you, sir. That's sick.
Congrats to you as well. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad your your nephew got to go.
Yeah, dude. PMC does more than just Pokemon, man.
Yeah, we do have a philosophy because we're just competitive people.
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to do something, we're going to try our best to do it well.
Yep, exactly. And that's...
Oh, I do it at all.
Yeah, exactly. I just have more fun when I'm doing better, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fun to win.
Yeah, yeah. You want to have fun? Win.
Jokes aside, it was a lot of fun. The weekend was fun. My state championship is coming up in a month. In Lansing, the Michigan GT. So probably going to be taking the same list. Otherwise, I'll be taking my dragons, which I'm building right now. So we'll see.
Sick. Well, with all of that was a long host hobbies. We're going to talk about Pokemon for a little bit, and then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk about even more Pokemon. So the first thing we got to talk about is Scarlet. Yeah, Scarlet and Violet. They've dropped a couple trailers at this point. The first one was Graphia. Am I saying that correct? Do you think that's how it's said?
Yep. Graphii.
Graphii. Okay. So it's this little monkey that we know Justin is excited about monkeys. And it's normal in poison.
Yep.
It's got a cool little aesthetic. It's
it's definitely got to have an evolution.
It has to. Otherwise, it's PU at best.
So stoked.
Yeah.
Oh boy, get just a big poison lemur. It's really cute. It's based off of the I guess it's subjective, but it's cute. You had the perfect meme. You got me with it that day when I was like, I love it. You hit me with that thing from Ant-Man.
Oh, which thing was that?
From the daughter from Ant-Man. It's so ugly. I love it.
Yeah, dude. So, dude, okay, hey, you know what?
On the I think it's called the squirrel lemur or something like that. But basically, it's a tiny little ground thing.
I just had this crazy idea. Okay, in my brain.
Yep.
What if this thing evolves into a regional form of Passimian? Poison and fighting Passimian. Poisimian.
Poisimian. Let's go. Yeah, that'd be sweet. So yeah, and the fact that it's a painter, it's an artist. So we're hoping that maybe this is a Pokemon that could even just one time get sketch. Ooh, the possibilities with a Pokemon sketch. Woo-hoo-hoo, let's go.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, I know you're excited for it. I think the Pokemon's going to be trash. So we need to see if we're going to get an evolution or not.
Without an Evo, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so that was the first trailer. The second trailer had a little more to see. They introduced the new enemy team, Team Star. They look just as derpy as Team Yell on paper.
It's going to be exactly the same. We're not ever going to get a Team Rocket again.
No, we're never going to.
We're never going to get an actual bad guy.
No. So, yeah, we saw that. We saw a couple new Pokemon. We got Cloth. He's this crab Pokemon.
I love the design, but I hate the name. It feels so... Like, there's a baby Pokemon out there called Cleffa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Agby. Like, there's, like, Cloth. It sounds like... It doesn't sound like what this giant big Pokemon is. He looks
Cloth.
Cloth. No, get out of here. That's dumb. You
think he's going to have an evolution too?
I think he is the evolution, but I'm not sure.
Think so?
He's giant, but I don't know. Or he might be like a Heracross standalone.
Oh yeah, like a singleton kind of thing. Yeah.
Forums.
We also got 2 new, looks like legendaries. I don't remember their names off the top of my head. Do you remember their names?
Armorage is the yellow and red one, and then something Blade for the... So it's Psychic type.
Yeah, he's Psychic Fire. The other one's Ghost Fire, right?
Yeah, Psychic Fire and Ghost Fire. So the yellow and red one, I'm looking right here for the name. Shout out to Sport Ninja.
Yep.
From here that we have this. And then also there is the big, like... There's a Ghost Engine.
Yeah.
Like, it's the engine of a car, but it's a ghost Pokemon with, like, a tongue hanging out and a Cyclops eye.
Yeah, so we...
I'm thinking that it could be Squidward.
You think so? Like an evolutionary, like a regional form?
That's my off-the-wall pick.
That's Dusk Noir, for those who don't know. Squidward is Dusk Noir.
Dust Noir.
Huh.
Brandon got a Dust Noir that used to run rampant back in the day when he first got the Evo with... just, oh my god, the Shadow Punch set.
Yeah.
And it's called Squidward.
Yeah, I got to look at that a little closer. But for those of you who have not seen the new legendaries, they look like Net Navis. They're straight up out of Mega Man.
Yeah, Armorogue.
Okay, that sounds right.
Yeah, Armorogue, Fire Psychic. He's the one that has he's yellow and red. Psychic and Fire.
Psychic and Fire, so Victini.
That's really sexy.
Yeah, that's actually, like, offensively, honestly, Ghost Fire is better.
And then he has the Transmetal 2 Cheetor, where he puts the hands together to form the Mega Buster.
Yeah, dude.
For what it's worth, that's pretty cool. I do think they look pretty Digimon, but they're not as derpy as the ones we got from the combination in Arceus. So
yeah, like they're awesome. They look super cool. They just don't look like Pokemon.
So Cerulean.
Yep, that's
the color. No, Cerulean the color.
Yes.
This is Cerulege.
Cerulege.
And that's Fire and Ghost. So that's the purple one. I love the color and gradient they did on the blades, where it goes from like this pinkish through a purple to like this bluish violet way up, or all the way around, but from the tip it's pink. Like, it looks great.
Yeah.
I do really, really like this one's helmet a lot, and it's purple. This one, I don't know.
I did mention that when I saw them that
my favorite.
They look like Net Navis, and then the fan art for Battle Network had already come out. Like, we have a full Battle Network Mega Man version of the one with the 2 swords, and then like we've seen the pixel art of these 2 fighting against Mega Man in the internet. So it's like
less than an hour, somebody already had that pixel art, and it looked great.
Yeah, it did look great too.
I can't wait. Shout out, bro. We got a couple months to go, but we can't divulge into that.
No.
Long story short, there's Mela is the new leader for the fire types, it looks like. So it looks like multiple types for the Team Star. and Mela is our new adversary, and she's got like this Mad Max kind of vibe.
Yeah, her boots are very extra.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But inside her car, like we talked about, is that engine, which looks like some sort of ghost Pokemon, maybe Ghost Steel.
Ghost Steel, Ghost Fire.
Could be Ghost Fire, yep.
Ghost Steel would be way better. Do we have a Ghost? Oh, yeah, we do. We got Aegislash.
Aegislash. But this could be like, if it's a Squidward, that could be Tank.
Oh, my God, dude. That would be insane, dude.
Much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, buddy. Yeah, dude.
Sub Punch, bro. Let's go. You see how much you love Substitute Focus Punch, people? You
Dude.
just saw it live. Ooh, yeah. Let's do that.
What, dude? That's one of the first things we're going to do in the new... In Gen 9, we're doing Sub-Focus Punch Breloom. That's the only way we're going to run Breloom. That's it. We're doing it. 100%. Sign me up.
He'll finally use it.
That,
it's one of my favorite home reps. It's a grass type. I love it, and he hates Breloom.
We're going Spore. Okay, we're going Spore, Sub, Focus Punch, and then depending on the ability... No, yeah, we're going Seed Bomb. Because we're going to go with Poison Heal.
It depends on what item you want to do.
Toxic Orb, because we're doing Poison Heal.
Oh, Toxic Orb, Poison Heal. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, Seed Bomb.
Seed Bomb. Yep. All right.
And
put it down.
And we just got confirmation in this trailer. The first trailer that showed off what's this Cyclizard?
Yeah.
Showed off the Shed Tail move. And then this second trailer showed off who, Brandon?
Slowbro, dude.
If Slowbro gets Shed Tail, he'll be the most. He'll be Uber. What do you think?
He'll be banned Uber.
Because Shed Tail to that Breloom.
I shudder to think.
I already have a substitute now.
I don't want to imagine a world I don't want to play an OU metagame where Regenerator Boots Slowbro is allowed to use Shed Tail. I don't want it. I don't want it, bro.
It's so broken.
I don't want it. Do you want it? I don't want it.
I don't want it. Let's talk about stuff we do want, man. Let's go get some coffee and let's talk about some Unite because praise the lords of gaming, Zapdos is gone. We'll be back in just a minute.
All right, and we're back. Don't pay attention. You might even look like we changed our clothes or it's a different day of the week almost.
It might be the next morning.
It may just be, however, it's just an optical illusion because we're here. We came right back immediately and we're here to talk about Thea Sky Ruins and the rebirth of Pokemon Unite. Justin.
So the main topic today, Zero, you already mentioned it. We mentioned it earlier. You just said it, the rebirth. Like, this is a whole new game now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a bit flippant, right? Like, the outside ring of the map and the position of the goals and the main objective being scoring goals and the timers and the spawn timers and a lot of the stuff is still the same, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's really not that different if you're not a Randy. What's different is how you play the game.
That is so true that it can't be understated or screamed high enough for the top of the rooftops, man. It's so different now.
So you got the notes in front of us, buddy?
Yes,
what
sir.
What do you want to start with?
Well, let's talk about what we think is the new most important objective until 8 minutes.
Yeah, beyond any shadow of a doubt, it's, in my opinion, just as, if not more important than Rayquaza himself.
Okay.
Literally the most important objective on the map, by far. Nothing else on this map matters at all in terms of big priority objectives than Reggie Alecki.
I agree. I agree.
Zero, what does Regieleki offer that is one still probably single-handedly the most broken mechanic in Unite, and it's the only way to get it now.
Insta scoring.
Insta dunks. You click that button, bing, boom, they're in. There's no charge time, insta 50. Regieleki hurts. Let's start there, right? Like, I feel like that's the start. This is not Rotom. It's the exact same buff as Rotom, verbatim. Same spawn time, same position on the map, same AI in terms of how it reacts.
Yeah.
Same insta-dunk mechanic. All of that's the same. But Regieleki slaps. Regieleki has killed he is a sixth member of your team. He legit hurts.
Yeah, he's got like multiple moves. He's got like Electro Web. It looks like he's got like Zap Cannon or something like that. And dude, he will melt your face off, dude.
It's really, really, really busted. So just be aware of that. Like, if Regieleki's on the board and you're not up there, you're 99% of the time you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you used to be able to face tank damage from Rotom and just spam autos. You cannot do that with Reggie now.
No, you need multiple people to take him down.
Yeah.
So obviously, like I said, the spawn timers are pretty much relatively the same. Check out all of the videos in our channel, obviously. Like, we've talked about Thea already in terms of where things spawn and when. So most of that is still the same to Remote Stadium, right? So 7 minutes, either the Reggie's bot or the Reggie top. So the reason that Reggie's bot, I don't want to be flippant, but basically trash, Zero.
Yeah. They're kind of trash. Like, you just kind of get them if you're around.
If there's nothing else on the board to do, and you just smoked a team fight and dunked Regieleki in, and everyone's dead, oh yeah, let's go bot and get that too.
Yes. Because like the buffs are
like 3-2 split or 4-1 split effectively because you're already ahead. Sure, get both. But the fact of the matter is, in a scenario where you have to make a trade, if you go for anything in the universe other than a Lecky, you're wrong.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to create pressure, like on goals. And that's where all the team fights are starting to happen now. Like, you're starting to see a little bit of people rotate up. Of course, the enemy team will always rotate up. Your partners, no idea. Yeah. But nothing.
They're paying to come bot like it's last 2021 Dreadnought.
Yeah,
like we have to go bot.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the most effective way to break goals post laning phase, which is kind of weird because you're always laning in this game, but you're not because there's so much farm and you got to get the Regieleki. Like, it's weird.
Go to the next big bullet point is like anything that says out of combat was already trash.
Yes.
In Remote. In Thea, it's beyond irrelevant. 0 out of 10. Negative 10 out of 10. I can't be more egregious with my calcs here. Like, it's
with your calcs.
You need to avoid out of combat stuff basically permanently.
Dude,
you're never out of combat in this map.
That needs a complete rework. Like, out of combat needs to start after 3 seconds. Like 1, 2, 3.
Exactly. So you spend 8 seconds out of combat, you have done something wrong.
Yeah, there's always farm. There's always
to be doing.
Yeah, dude, you level up so fast. I got to level 8 at one point before Regieleki. I mean, you've gone even further, but like the first time it happened, I was like, whoa.
I dinged level 9 right as we were going up to the Regieleki fight.
Yeah.
At 7.
3 minute Blastoise.
It's pretty sexy.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on Rayquaza now, Zero. So Rayquaza is not bad.
No.
The Reggies bot are bad. I guess we should finish that conversation. The reason that the Reggies are bad, the Ho and Reggies are bad, it's They're only bad because of the direct comparison, because they spawn at the exact opposite end of the map at the same time as Aleki. So you basically have to make a trade most of the time.
Well, I think it's not even the comparison to Aleki, right? It's the comparison to Dreadnought. Like that loss and that like, change.
What I mean is, imagine if there was a 30-second stagger on their spawns. Then the Reggie thought all of a sudden are like, well, wait a minute, yeah, that's a worthwhile objective to rotate to. We can go get extra damage or armor or something and then pick a team fight and score. Yes. Like, I get the idea, but it's because they spawn at this, for me, it's because they spawn at the same time as Aleki, and Aleki's just infinitely better.
Yes, yes.
They give a little bit of experience. It's basically nothing. And then Regice gives you the EX or the HP regen, basically nothing. And then the rock. Yep, the offenses, or rock gives the defenses and steel gives the offenses.
Yeah.
It's nice when you're already ahead. It's a good snowballing tool.
Yeah,
but they're not comeback mechanics. So don't try to use comeback mechanics.
You had mentioned that if their buffs were like permanent, that would stack throughout the game, it'd be more worth it. Like it didn't even have to be a big increase. If it was a small increase that was permanent, that would be more than worth rotating to, I think.
Because it's on a timer, you get the buff and then it goes away. Now you're back to normal. If it was a permanent attack buff, if it was a permanent defense buff, if it was a permanent HP regen buff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like now we're talking like, wait a minute, or base HP or whatever. Do you know, they change. But the point is, if it was like a permanent stat, like a Aos cookie. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like something like that. Then you'd be cooking with peanut oil a little bit, and you might be an argument like Dread to where it's like, oh well, it's only the first goal. We can let that Aleki go.
Yeah, but yeah, like we said, man. So you make great points. Let's move on to Rayquaza.
Yeah,
talk about Rayquaza.
So what do you think about the big dragon? I've talked about it a little bit already.
I think it's definitely a change that the game absolutely needed. I don't have to sit here and paint a scenario for you guys where you lose to a Zapdos flip, okay? I don't have to do that. You've done it. You've played the game more than 10 times. You know what it's like. It was. And it made...
I'm in control, and I'm winning for 80% of the game. I deserve to win that game.
Yes. Yeah, like, I understand comeback mechanics, and this one is a fine comeback mechanic. If you win it, it can work for you.
Yep.
Most of the time, it will work for you. Well, I shouldn't say that, but it can work for you. So basically, if you don't already know, Rayquaza gives you a shield, and that shield...
It'll be a big bubble around you.
It actually looks pretty slick, dude. The way that it literally looks like a dragon egg orb thing.
Yeah.
And
like energy, like a hologram.
While you have that, you get faster scoring. So,
you get a shield over your HP.
Yes.
A bunch of white HP bars.
Mm-hmm.
Once that shield is gone, the power of Rayquaza is gone, and you're back to regular old you. Whatever your base scoring is, that's where you're at. You have to charge, you have to do everything. While the shield is active, you get increased speed and scoring, and it's basically like an added bonus score shield item on top of you. So it takes a lot to get interrupted. You can't be interrupted if you have those HP bars, basically.
Yep.
If you've got a huge chunk of white HP bars, they have to break all of that down before they even start to interrupt your score shield item.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So you're basically getting it in. So, Zero, what's the counter to this? How do you beat... If somebody got Rayquaza, how do you defend against it?
First and foremost... break the shields on the squishies.
The damage
carriers. Like, those are the people that you need to single out. If you lose the Rayquaza fight, if you're still up, you have to attack those damage dealers first, because it's going to be hard to stop the tanks. Why, sir?
There you go. Perfect. Because it's harder to break the shields of somebody that's late game 9 minutes in on like a T-Tar or a Snorlax or a Blastoise, you're going to have a lot of work getting through my shield versus a Delphox.
Yes.
Delphox is still squishy, so you're going to be able to break that shield with like 2 moves. You know, when Talonflame comes in, or Absol comes in, or Gengar comes in, and boom, now the Decidueye is back to just regular HP, and now you can just one-shot him again like regular. And even if you can't one-shot him, at least now he doesn't have the superpower. Go to the next character, take their shield out. Go to the next character, take their shield out.
Yeah.
You take out as many shield. You don't have to get kills, because if they're alive with 50 points, but they don't have the buff, okay, well then you just defend normally. You just don't let them get to 50. And does that make sense? Like, it sounds pretty simple when you say it like that, because it is. You just have to break those shields.
I do want to say that now more than ever, balanced team comps are... Well, I think there will be score comps. Like in high competitive play, there will be score comps, and I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be good.
Yep.
But
you have to have me.
But on a lower level, you can't go in with 5 damage dealers, because even if you win 80% of the game, even if you win Rayquaza, you can get team wiped and counter scored on.
Well, yeah, because they will remove your Rayquaza shield in 2 seconds and completely nullify what should have been a really great buff.
Yes. So it's now more on you than anything. If you want to carry your team, it takes picking up Blastoise, Blissey, Eldegoss, Mime. It takes those thick characters, because those are going to carry your scoring in the late game. Yep.
Extra healing, extra mobility, extra CC, thick HP bars, good defense. You need to have the thicker the squad, the better.
Yeah, like you should be playing. You should be playing T-Tar, Serena, those kind of those kind of melee characters. Like I said, I think Eldegoss is gonna find a better place right now.
Yep, Venusaur and Mew are great because they have the beams to secure objectives. Zard's in a really great spot now because there's so much experience in the jungle. You can hit 9. I mean, which is when he evolves to Charizard, for people that don't know, you can hit level 9 basically 100% of the time without even trying. Before Regieleki fight, you're always going to be Charizard.
Yeah, I think those characters that scale later, especially the melee characters, are in a better place. I think a character like Ralt has never been good at clearing farm. Maybe when you get Curlia, but early game Ralts is just,
it's that springboard game. You have to get under level 5, then you start playing.
Yeah, exactly. So balanced team comps, I think now is the time more than ever to put your ego aside and play something that's more of a team-oriented character rather than like, I play Gardevoir all the time, so I'm just going to stick on Gardevoir. Okay, well, we have standards for that, not ranked.
We sent out a couple messages in the past couple weeks leading up to Thea, trying to get everybody in the PMC in our gaming group get their mindset changed and wrapped around this new idea of we're not playing like that anymore.
Right.
Like, that's a game, so we as a gaming group are not going to be playing that. We're not going to be, I guess, for lack of a better word, we're not going to tolerate that type of selfish gameplay anymore because it's not remote.
Right.
In Thea, you have to have good coordination and teamwork, which means everybody has to shift their mindset a little bit of like, okay, you guys are going up there for the Rotom? Well, I'll just stay down here and get Dread. No, everyone goes up there for the Aleki.
Right.
90% of the time. So, like, those little tiny tweaks, we've had to make some adjustments, even in our own group. So definitely just keep in mind that, when we say it's a new game, it's more of the approach.
Yeah, it really is. Like, everything mechanically is the same, but there's also more of a precedent on scoring, especially scoring early. And
it's so important. it's so we've won games before where somebody else got the Rayquaza
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't score enough to beat us because
Mm-hmm.
we got so far ahead early.
Yeah. And Justin, we had talked a little bit off camera about Dodrio and how we think Dodrio on remote would have been a bottom tier character, but however, now that there's going to be such a precedent on scoring, that Dodrio could be really, really good in the new map.
Absolutely. Like her ability with the triple scoring, watch our video. It's pretty broken for what it is.
Yes.
Even on remote, it's just a broken scoring mechanic.
Yep.
It's really good, is what I'm saying.
Yep.
But now on Thea, it's through the stratosphere great. Just being able to boing, 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 3 little dunks. There's, you know what I mean, 15, 16 each, and now you got basically 45 to 50 points. Boom, you're done.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so hard to interrupt. I think just playing that, this is one of those like the scorer, a Talonflame, Gengar, Dodrio, one of these characters that has the ability to, or Dragonite.
Yes.
One of these characters has the ability to just be like, phew, I'm over here now. Boom, get the points in.
Yep.
These characters with these type of niche builds, Ancient Power T-Tar.
Yep. Yep.
There's a lot
That's a
of
big one.
investment for this style of character to be able to maybe fit into your gaming group's team comps.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's not just about like, well, how much damage can I do? Now all of a sudden there's like, okay, yeah, there's damage, but like, are you mobile? Like, are you bulky?
The amount of times where we get Aleki, this is the power of Aleki too. 4 or 5, the enemy team will come top to defend Aleki because it's strong and you need a lot of people. Well, they're all there. I'm Talonflame. Bot lane.
Exactly. That's been part of the strategy of Regieleki for us for a while. Since this game changed over to Thea Sky Ruins, we've been doing that a lot. Like, okay, yeah, we're failing the Aleki push.
Yep.
Well, somebody's peeling off and going bot and scoring, so we're scoring anyway.
But we don't go right away.
Right.
That's the key. You try to get the Aleki in, but it's up to us during the fight to be able to make that call at the right time while there's still time to go down and score. It's a balancing act in your mind, but basically you have to sort of judge it and make that call to abort the mission. Like, yeah, we're not going to be able to get this in. All right, I'm going to go peel off.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it doesn't work. So again, this is not perfect, but it's a strategy that you should be thinking about and looking for those windows of opportunity. And once you start to do it a couple times and it works, you're like, oh, that's the window of opportunity he was talking about.
So, Justin, I don't want to call this closing thoughts, but it kind of is closing thoughts. Like, what do you think overall about the changes to the map, like in the game? Like, where's your head at with the game now?
Pretty positive. Like, Randy's are still Randy's. Randy's are still everywhere. There's nothing we can do about that. So for the things that we can control, I love it. I love the exclusion or removal, whatever you want to call it, of Dreadnought.
Yeah, it was very over-centralizing.
Well, because it was just too broken in what it did.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me the EXP buff to now they all have ultimates and none of us have ultimates. So we just instantly lose the fight before we even try.
Right.
It's not possible for us to contest when they have all their ultimates. Only one or none of us have our ultimate.
Yep, then they smash your bottom goal. They score a little bit on your mid-tier goal, and then you guys, you kind of lose. You kind of would lose Rotom that way too, because if you were smart, you would you respawn after you lost second goal. You would just farm Audinos or jungle until you got to where you needed to be. But by the time you did that, Rotom was pushing down your top or your mid-tier goal. So it's like, okay, you're getting hit from every side when you lose Dreadnought, and it's so hard to stop.
Yep. And then Zapdos. Like, they're just egregious. They weren't balanced. They weren't really thought out that well. We've talked about this since day one, that those two were a problem in Unite, in Remote. And having the Reggie's bot still spawn at the same time as Aleki, but they suck, means it's a super easy decision. We just go for Aleki. And then Rayquaza is great for what he is. My favorite part about Rayquaza has nothing to do with anything we've already talked about. My favorite part of Rayquaza is his ability, Airstreams. The air currents.
Oh, yeah, those are pretty tight, dude.
Those are legit, right?
Yeah, so you can just kind of... so there's air currents in your lanes.
They're just big, about the size of a goal.
Yep, and
there's one in the jungle, too.
And they increase your movement speed, so you can, like, if you get smoked at the Rayquaza fight or something, decide you want to counter score, you've got an air current that's helping you get to, like, that bottom goal faster while he's still alive.
Or if you're on a squishy character and you only got 1 HP, and in that decision you're like, fuck, normally I'd have to go back to base to heal, right?
Yeah.
Well, in this scenario, like a Talonflame is what I've been spamming a lot in solo queue. If I go into a team fight at the Dragon Pit and we kill 3 or 4 of the enemies and I've only got 1 HP, I'm going to go score with that one. You know what I mean? Because, like, if that one dude steals the Rayquaza, good for you. You're the only dude with the buff. Everybody else is dead. They don't get the buff.
Right.
It's not like Zapdos where the buff is on the goals. The buff is on the character. So if you're dead when that Rayquaza is taken for your team, you don't benefit from it at all.
Yeah.
So again, like, if only one dude has the buff or 2 dudes have the buff, you just go score like 200-300 points around them when they're all dead.
Yep, and that's an important point you make right there. That the buff is on the characters, not the goal. So it benefits you to be alive and around your team and all of that stuff. So
have a balanced team comp so you can pick a good team fight.
Yes. So yeah. Anything else you wanted to kind of say before I get my piece on it?
Yeah, so it's sort of a question for you. So this is something that I asked everybody in the PMC a little experiment that we're working on. I'm not saying that I'm right. That's how I started it. This is literally just a thought experiment that I was thinking about and wanted testing and feedback. And it's about Score Shield, the item Score Shield. Mm-hmm. I always thought it was an auto-include because it just fits my playstyle and it opens up plays that normally are literally impossible to even attempt if you don't have it. And that's in Remo Stadium. Mm-hmm. Everything we just talked about in this podcast with Thea, scoring is so much more important, especially early. And Score Shield allows those plays. And then late game, Score Shield allows that, oh my gosh, it's clenching, my hands are sweating, and then somebody comes in with one little auto attack and boop, stops you.
Yeah.
Score Shield, you're protected. So it allows for these plays to swing games. So anyways, basically the thought experiment that I put on you guys was that I think it's worth it for every character that you have been practicing in Remo, all of your main character pools in any role, at least try a build with the Score Shield now in this map. Give it one good sesh of real testing. And just, if you hate it still, that's fine. But just try it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you guys have all done that so far on multiple characters. Doug has played, I don't think he's gone into a game one single time without Score Shield on any character so far in the past week. Myself as well. I never played without it before. I definitely don't play without it now. And they could cut its HP by another 100 and I'd still auto-include it.
Okay.
It's because of its passive in Thea as it stands right now. That's sort of my thought. So I'm going to give you the floor and let you. So you've been practicing with it. What do you? Normally you don't run Score Shield ever.
Well, there's two sides to it. I think on paper, yes, it's good. We're on a more score-based kind of game, less of a team fighty game, and I think part of that is on the player.
Yep.
Like, when are you scoring? Are you 1v3ing trying to force the Score Shield to work for you? Or are you using it in a situation where maybe you're alone? I don't think it's good enough to face tank that much damage at this point.
No,
because of the nerfs. It used to be that good. It used to just...
No, it's not good for face tanking stuff, but it's good for avoiding those one random auto attack interruptions.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be an auto attack. It doesn't have to literally be one. But you guys get my point. Everyone that's played this game understands that time where you're...
Oh yeah, yep. You got the
It's
50. You got the 50 burger in your pocket, about to score 100, and then you lose the game. You're like, I
those,
just needed to get that
those for
50.
me, that for me is worth the trade off of any other stats that I could potentially have, or passives that I could potentially have in that item slot, except for the score shield. Because how do you win the game?
Scoring points.
So that's always been my standpoint. And now in Thea, I'm like triple, quadruple down on. I'm like, yes, yes, Oprah here. Everyone gets a score shield. I don't care what role you're. I play score shield assassins. I don't care.
So I'll give my thoughts
Yeah, go.
before we
What have you
roll
been?
out, and we'll play some more. So I think we are getting closer to a state of the game where it's like, okay, this is how the game was supposed to be played, right? Like,
Yeah, almost like remote was sort of like a live beta test in a way
yeah,
for a year.
yeah. I
That's it. No, no, no. That's a really good point. That's interesting. Yeah, that really does feel like that, doesn't it? Like
there
this is the game now. This is the game that they had always envisioned for us. They were just working out the kinks or whatever.
I do think though the one problem with Thea is it's just a more advanced map with more advanced gameplay, and I feel like your random players, your randies, are going to be worse because they're not going to understand where everything is and when. Okay, they're not going to understand why
The death pit of bushes and hallways. That is the Rayquaza pit. Now.
they're not going to understand. Well, why is this Absol level 10 and I'm still level 6 and he's one-shotting me? Okay, well, Absol, he's probably farming, and you need to do that all the time too. Like, I don't think a lot of random players are going to understand that.
Exactly.
The scaling is faster in this new version of the game, so you need to be on top of that. You need to be farming.
You need to be proactive in your farming. Yeah, I agree. Wavelength, bro.
I think that's going to be a detriment, and it's going to take a little bit before people start coming together on an idea of how to win the game.
Yep.
And that is going to be forcing Regieleki and taking Rayquaza, even if you're winning. You still want the dragon. That's my personal opinion. I mean, you can disagree or whatever, what have
Yeah.
you. But when you leave your opponent's win condition on the board, you are increasing the chances of you losing. It's like when you're, you know that the opposing team, is a football game. You put 5 guys on the touchdown line, and they're 80 yards away. Okay, well, they still have 60 yards to play with. Are you going to give them that 60 yards and let the game get that close? You're going to let them get to the goal? Or are you going to play like a zone defense or even a man defense if you're crazy and shut that down way down there at the 20-yard line? You know, like, what are you going to do? Like, what kind of...
my opinion, it's funny you say that. In my opinion, zone defense is the way to go 99% of the time.
You never go man defense and like
Never go
inside
man
to it. No.
As soon as
That's
you go man defense, that's when somebody scores behind you.
exactly. Yeah.
Every time you step off that goal.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for the community to kind of come together on a lot of things, and for the community to catch up to the ideas that it takes to win a game, and get a little more cohesive. But overall, I think the changes are better. I think the better players are going to start flourishing more, and the people who don't understand, I think, might get shoved down even more. That's kind of my thoughts about the game overall. It's amazing changes. It's a fun change. It's better. I love the map. It looks amazing. So yeah, dude, it's
way more healthy not having Zapdos.
I think so too. Because like it's not a 50-50 coin flip if you win the game.
Exactly. I don't think we can say that enough. Zapdos was terrible game design. It always has been. We've said that since day one. The conjunction of the double points in the last 2 minutes and the insta-dunks, it's just always been a bad game design.
Yeah, it has.
Been terrible.
Yep.
Terrible idea. Terrible execution. Everything was terrible.
It's
Geet isn't terrible. We love Zapdos.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
fortunately, they did our boy dirty. But we want to leave off with one little bit of hope for the PMC listeners out there. Like we said at the beginning, remote's gone.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just like an option. We're like, okay, well, I can play remote, stadium, or... No. Thea is the game now.
Mm-hmm.
Which means certain Pokemon that were locked in as wild Pokemon, therefore being locked in tangentially in our brains as not applicable in the conversation of wishlist Pokemon we'd like to see as a playable Pokemon for the roster. You know what that means?
Ludicolo's getting in, baby. Ludicolo is definitely getting into Pokemon Unite, baby.
And then there's also, obviously, Crawdon.
Crawdon. Watch, dude, they put
I haven't had a single...
They put Audino in, dude, just to make us mad.
14 months! Oh my god. 14 months of playing this game. I haven't had one single rep out of my top 10 yet.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Had 3!
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, buddy.
So, I would really, 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 really love... There's a lot of Pokemon I would love in this game. Rillaboom, Infernape, Arcanine, obviously Sceptile. But Ludicolo, he's got to round it out for my top 5 right there. It's got to be either that or Meganium, one of those two, man.
Yep.
Oh, but yeah, Ludicolo in this game would be amazing. Obviously, it would be a 3-stage. I would want it to be basically what it was in the... What was that game mode where we get, the catch 'em all?
Oh, yeah. Catch 'em. Catch 'em all.
Yeah, catch 'em.
Yeah.
So, like, he was melee, walk around slapping people, but then he had a bunch of stuff that could shoot. Let's do it. Let's go. Just... So happy.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff coming to Unite. Dodrio's coming in like a week. Mew's out right now. We're working on a video for that. And then, like we said, Dodrio in a week. And then, like, end of this month, bro. End of this month. Caesar, baby.
Caesar time. We'll have plenty of Caesar content. Don't you worry. We might be doing like a Caesar stream. Maybe not day of. That might be hard to coordinate and even get him, but we'll figure something out.
Definitely.
All right, guys. We're gonna go. We're gonna go play some more. So until then, I've been Zero.
And I'm Justin.
Council's adjourned.